said, do you like waffles? I said, hell yeah. Been watching Equals 3 until 2 a.m. I ain't got no iPhone, but I got a DS with a keychain, a pinky. Her cupcakes are the best. I've been failing my classes cause I don't give a damn. They say the world is my oyster, but the free market's a scam. Everything's been changing since last generation was born, and they won't try to take and change it. A two-edged sword. I'm the antonym of the internet, still cleaning up the viruses that you had left. I think I've fallen in love again. Don't stop until you. I'm the antonym of the internet, been fighting on new grounds over if my love is valid. Fuck the cynicism, let the colors fly. Don't care, you think it's cringe because it's not your life. It's never too late to fall in love with the world. Your past is not today, so say you're straight with a twirl. Yeah, we've all made mistakes before, that's the fact of life. But once you restate your heart, you'll be just fine. Now it's your life, you say it's all mine, all mine. Revel in your friends and hobbies, let your heart speak. Wanna drift or say some shit, just block that internet freak. I'm the antonym of the internet, still cleaning up the viruses that you had left. I think I'm falling in love again. Don't stop until you. I'm the antonym of the internet, been fighting on new grounds over if my love is valid. Fuck the cynicism, let the colors fly. Don't care, you think it's cringe because it's not your life. I messaged some bounty over Tumblr last night. She said, raw X3, so it's true love at first sight. Throw out my candy bracelets, now I'm headed to class. I'm still 20%, so get your head out your ass. I'm the antonym of the internet, still cleaning up the viruses that you had left. I think I'm falling in love again. Don't stop until you hear the. I'm the antonym of the internet, been fighting on new grounds over if my love is valid. Fuck the cynicism, let the colors fly. Don't care, you think it's cringe because it's not your life. She said, do you like waffles? I said, hell yeah. Been watching Equals 3 until 2 a.m. I ain't.
Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back. We are together again with Beast of Reincarnation, the Game Freak game. I have to keep saying that as I play this. Oops. Oh, this popped up. Finally. Okay. I have to say that as I play this thing because, good gods, does it not look like a Game Freak game. Then again, most of all I know Game Freak for right is Pokemon, so that's probably part of it. Anyway, we have been doing some exploring in this abandoned subway tunnel system, getting utterly wrecked by some random robots. Hello, Nerdo. How are you doing? Okay, I do not know how to deal with those explosives. Maybe I need to, like, send... Maybe I need to, like, send my doggo forward attack? Is there, like, a button for send doggo to attack? I know there's a key for it. I'm not sure if there's a button on the controller, though. Anyway, how are you doing, Nerdo? I've been doing well ever since I got the tattoo. Honestly, I kind of love it. It's definitely one of my favorite things I've done recently. Yeah! Oh yeah, by the way, I have an AoE attack now, and I can do all the shit. Tinkering with Deadpool, shut up. It's a badass tattoo. Cool. And you with your badass tattoo? Ah, it's recovering. Unfortunately, I'm supposed to keep it out of sunlight and keep it, like, constantly clean. So, you know, sweat plus very bright and sunny summer bike ride equals bad. So I've been having to drive to work lately, which sucks. Ugh. If you told like 5 or 10 or even like 18-year-old me that I prefer bike riding over riding in an air-conditioned car somewhere, he would probably just look at me like I was insane. Thank goodness I'm not younger me anymore. Oh. What is this, a quick time event? Lock? Hey everyone, locks are just DDR pads now. Worth it. Yeah, it is. It's really cool. I spent a lot of time thinking about what it would be, though. Originally I was getting it toothless, because, you know, duh. And I am probably going to get a toothless one eventually, because, again, duh, right? Like, but it was, the toothless ones I was looking at were, like, the toothless designs I was looking at were very complicated and large for, like, a first tattoo. And I wanted to do something that was, like, smaller and kind of more simple. So I got the 2 dragons. They're pretty simple, you know, very chibi-esque. Hello, Code and Assembly. What are you doing in a place like this? But yeah, so that's been going on. I've also been not having time to work on my freaking videos. I had some stuff on Sunday that I had to go do, and then I was just like out doing errands that I've been putting off for like a month. You know, drop some stuff off, go by the laundromat to finally get my sheets fully, my comforter washed for like the first time in like a month. Life sucks sometimes. There's stuff to do and boring. I want to get back to the fun. But hopefully I should be finally back to like as much as I respect. Hot take, this one is better as much as I respect Toothless. Ah, you haven't seen the Toothless ones. But I will admit, Ugin and Nicol Bolas do look really cute, and I love the way that Ugin just like looks, and Nicol Bolas' fire came out like really nice, yeah. So that's been kind of cool. I'm very glad I chose that particular art for it. Oh, little moss rats, or little flower rats. You know, I do like the creature design for this. It really does feel like an infested world. Plants overgrowing literally everything, even the animals. Okay. More meat, more bones, spirit stones. Alright, alright. Also, I got a new technique. Watch this. Ground slam time. I make flowers. I think that's just really cool. The power of flowers, everyone. It's going to be a great tool for when I'm like surrounded by crowds in this game, which has definitely been a problem with a few of the other fights I've been in. Alright. Set down here. But yeah, so I've been pretty good. I've been working on my final campaign for the Magnus Archives. My final investigation. It's going to be this kind of expansion of one of the investigations from the book as like a side quest thing before getting into like the final battle against this ongoing threat that I've kind of been preparing my players for throughout the campaign. The Sculptor, this flesh warper, even attacked using these body-hopping worm, flesh worm things. You know, she's coming. She's been coming for a while. And now my players have to deal with it along with whatever sinister plans their boss has been brewing in the meantime. So, you know, that's going to be going really well, I think, as we prepare to move into Wild Sea. Someone else is going to be campaigning that. And then Eventually moving into Mage the Ascension, which I'm so excited about. If I'd mark myself like that, it'd be a kind of tattoo that fucks under high heavens. I'm thinking if I ever mark myself, I'll remain pure. Oh wow, I got wrecked. Even like, you know, the one things I will say, Souls-like is a term that's a bit overused, but one thing I will give this game, even a small group of enemies can wreck your shit. Which is definitely one of the defining things of a Souls game for me, right? Is even a pack of enemies, if you aren't taking them seriously, can seriously ruin your day. Alright. Crossbow is useful also against enemies running at you and exploding. Real cinematic fill. We even have sequel bait in the form of death records. Yeah. Oh, I have some definite sequel bait stuff if we ever go back to Magnus. And let me be clear, if we ever go back to Magnus, we're doing it in like a completely different system, right? That I'm flavoring as Magnus. Because I don't think I'm ever doing the Cypher system again unless it gets unless this version of it gets a major overhaul. This game is not a Souls-like. How much more are we gonna stretch it? Alright, how about this then? It's an action RPG that actually is challenging. And that is something I do look for. Like, even a handful of enemies like that, right? The archers will wreck your shit. Do not engage in a melee duel while there are archers around. They will just murder you. Whoa. Ouch. Also, the lightning guys just do not screw around. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm trying to really evoke the horror of the game, because I feel like our last investigation did a really good job of playing up the horror of the setting, and I want to lean more into that, right? I want to lean more into, like, risky reward stuff, and the horror of the powers, you know? And how, like, the fears are not something you just screw around with and get out scot-free. Not in, like, the you fail way, but in the this has not worked out the way we planned, even if we did technically succeed way. Is it action RPG though? It looks more like classic action game. It is an action RPG. It does have like heavy RPG elements. It even has a temporary turn-based thing where you can literally pause and do like a turn-based attack mode. Alright, stab myself. Come on. Alright. Oof. Also, it does have a stat line, so RPG. And it has choices. Lots of choices. Okay. Last archer. Dealing with most of them, your rapport with Kagura has increased. My rapport with Kagura. Kagura. Why do I say Kagura? Kagura. I know basic hiragana. Holy shit. I should be able to at least pronounce the hiragana correctly. Jeez. Kagura. Kagura. I mean, sure, but sort of Eteria on PS2. Palwor's still clamping on my leg and refused to let go while Genji is on my other leg pulling me down. Neverness to Everness. Arknights to Enfield are pulling my eyes in opposite directions. Oh, dude, I get your vibe. I am like so... Honestly, this year went from like nothing to everything. Because I have the Odyssey. I still need to go see the new Spider-Man movie. We have so many new... Maybe some mechanic that has permanent consequences to meddling magic, like attunement to specific fear. We talked about that, right? Like a feared chart. Like, I'm already kind of doing that, right? Where I'm, like, role-playing that Matt is attuned to the eye and a bit to, like, you know, he's attuned to, like, a bit to the eye and a little bit weirdly to the dark because he's been playing with different elements of their fears. But it's, like, it's very much a thing I'm kind of doing on my own as, like, a storyteller as opposed to any, like, real system. There is a system for becoming an avatar, which should be a lot like that in a sense, where you should build up a rapport with a certain faction of the fears, right? And then die and become reborn or something when you reach a certain threshold. But it's just not as much of a thing as it should be, in my opinion. Especially through gameplay, I mean, right? Through gameplay mechanics. in the game, yes, you can become an avatar, right? You can become an avatar of a fear. But the avatar abilities kind of suck. And even if you homebrew more of them, which we've already, you know, danger of homebrewing, right? It's still just like a little disappointing. The whole, like, you eventually gain enough stress to unlock supernatural abilities, I think is a cool idea, right? If you're exposed to enough supernatural forces pushing on your soul or whatever, eventually you can do weird fear magic, but it's supposed to come at costs. I wish that, like, the more you did fear magic, you had to, like, flavor it attached to a certain entity. And then, if you did too much fear magic related to an entity, right? Like, almost like a paradox build-up. With, like, magic and mage, essentially. And a paradox backlash was you, like, gaining a further attunement to that entity. So, like, occultist, it would really play up, like, the lore for the occultist, because, like, in Magnus Archive's universe, right, people who play with occult powers are constantly having to balance themselves and prevent themselves from being tied down to any one entity. It's like a big deal with, like, Jürgen Leitner or Mary Keyes. They're both people who, like, played with powers but didn't become a servant to any one. And a lot of occultists often, like, worry about it. Also, there was a tied to reality track, kind of like damage track that can't be finished. You just be erased. Yeah! Because that's like a huge thing the eye can do at, like, really, really powerful stages, or even just other entities, right? Like, the Vast will just chuck you into the like, area of never-ending falling. The Dark and the Lonely can just absorb you into this endless abyss, or this, like, endless fog place. Heck, to be honest, I barely consider Souls to RPG anymore. I consider Souls to be really strongly RPG. Even when they went Sekiro, they still went heavy into RPG mechanics and abilities, right? Even if Sekiro didn't have, like, stats to upgrade. And every other Soul game has been very build your own character stat-based. So I would still consider Souls to be very much action RPGs at their core. Alright, let's go ahead and rest here. I will say, they did a fantastic job with these landscapes. You know what? I'll be real. This kind of reminds me a bit of Expedition 33. Not like the specific style they're going for, but the way the world is just so ruined and distorted by whatever this apocalypse was. Like, look at this. This is pretty fucking cool. The waterfalls pouring out of the buildings, which have been, like, risen into the sky as these misshapen stone pillars as nature reclaims the skyscrapers. That's just freaking cool. Yes, generally borrowing RPG mechanics is nothing new in gaming. I mean, no, like, Dark Souls are action RPG games. All three of them are action RPGs. Like, hands down. I don't think you can argue that. They don't just borrow RPG elements, they are action RPGs, at least on a mechanical level. They even have plot lines and character quest lines and decisions you can make that can change the outcome of how those stories play out. Even the multiple choice ending thing that some RPGs have. Maybe Attunement the Eye gives you more protection from the dark, tearing you from reality. Yeah, like the whole thing I'm doing where opposite entities have trouble, like, sensing or interacting with each other. So they kind of have, like, a sort of pseudo-immunity. It was played up a bit in the show, too. There was a whole thing where the main character gets kidnapped, and the Eye can't find him because the stranger has him. But he has to get saved by this other creepy monster thing from the Spiral, essentially, whose whole thing is, like, being very unclear as to whether it's going to betray you or not. Genshin released the Shinsnaya region. A recent update. NTE is dropping a new patch today. Infield are quiet. Whoa. I will say this game really is going really hard on the parry mechanic, though. That being said, you know how I like dice pool systems. Yeah, I will say, so Frederick, I've been playing around with, like, the dice roller in Foundry a little bit. Mostly testing out what, like, different rolls are going to look like for my character, making sure everything is kind of the way I want it. And I really do like the dice pool system. I like how you can modify both the difficulty and number of successes, and it makes a very easy way to, like, make different scalable levels of doing even better than you thought, right? Like, so you have your target successes and your target numbers, and then as you get more successes, you can like increase damage or duration or amplify the effect of whatever it is you're particularly doing. Like, imagine trying to write a story or something, and then you just do it so well you create the best masterpiece you've ever made, because you rolled like 10 successes. Being me is suffering. Oh man, buddy, I feel you, Dawn Seeker, so hard. I have so many things to do. And I want to do them all, but I'm also just exhausted. I've been working on like several other things. I feel like the main thing is that I've been working on whatever, in my little free time, right, this last week, I've been working on getting my next campaign ready. I feel like once I move on and am no longer running a TTRPG, and I'm just a player, I should hopefully, oh, it's a giant, like, axolotl lizard thing? Or gator? Oh, wow. By the way, since you got all those shiny new techs experimenting, son? With what? Which the shiny new techs? Which are you talking about? I have a few interesting tech things. You're talking about experimenting with the server. Yes, I've continued to experiment with my server. I got the new version of Foundry 14 unlocked, so that's been good. Honestly, I kind of like it over 13. It's simplified. It fixed a lot of the issues I had with 13 personally. Although I'm not sure I want to do more than this. Oh, frick. Alright, heal. Talking here in game, experimenting with cancel, shine. Oh, yeah, I have been experimenting with stuff. Although this game seems a lot more on, like, unlocking abilities. I have been experimenting. You can parry arrows out of the sky. I also learned that you can do... Oh, God, what was the other thing I found out earlier? There was some weird thing I figured out a while recently. Oh god, there was something really weird. Also, my last project before I retire is coming along. I'm starting to see the end. Oh man, that's good for you, man. Good for you. Ow. I should have parried that properly. I know there's gonna be another phase after this one. Damn. The game's mechanics seem fairly rigid at the moment. I will say I have been really enjoying the stealth takedown from above, because if you stealth takedown people, right, with using like the lift attack, you don't automatically alert everyone, and as a result you can very easily chain those together, and I've done that like a bunch now, which is really cool. I've also been playing around with some like the gemstones you can apparently slot into your armor, which are cool. Those give you like little buffs at the start of each round. I will say, parrying does seem to be the way to go. Ah, yes, here we go. Look at me go. He got a bloom. Oh man, look at the flowers bloom. It's fantastic. Ooh. I got triple hit there, that's on me. Alright. Almost got him. He's definitely gonna have a second phase. I already know this. You know, from the first one, right? We already know he's gonna have a second phase. Bind him. Javelin him. Alright. Okay, we've got critical. Go for kill. Time for end phase 1. Alright. Wait, is that it? We killed the Nushi? It's not phase 2-ing? Oh, no, it is. Wait, we get experience points for getting the first phase? That's interesting. Other ways you're gonna miss out on some cool stuff like Dino Blade. Like in Dino Blade. I get it. I'm experimenting a bit. I've actually been playing around with the ranged weapons a bit. Swapping between them and like figuring out when to use them is actually really important, I found. Also, the headshots on like the full bow are actually very useful for taking out some robots from a distance, and can be really nice for picking off smaller targets out of a group. So I've been playing around a bit with that. Maybe it went to the surface, but why? You mean it ran away? It's like it fled to its lair. Pal World brings on inner war criminal. I think that's basically everyone. Like, come on, we all caught a human being, right? We all did it at least once, and then we realized human beings were garbage, and so we like deleted it from the box. Please tell me that's not just me. Please tell me. Validate that I'm not a psychopath, please. Validate that I'm not a horrible person. It's like I need to take a sip of peppermint tea. I really need to create like a tea mug, right? And then create like a little version of me that just like picks up the tea and starts sipping until I change. Oh god, I really need to get... One of the other things, Warudo is definitely one of the things I really need to get more into. There are so many cool things you can do in it. Alright. Ooh, another blade. Mech Blade Heavy. Cool. Oh, and it's already upgraded. That's nice. That's real nice. Did you capture 2 old villages, not just the merchants, but the villagers too? No! Because I saw that their stats were garbage and decided that they were worthless compared to pals. What is wrong with you? Holy shit. Holy shit. Dawnseeker, I realized it was pointless and stopped. Dear gods, man. Also, wait, I should probably check and see if that door can be opened. 1 sec, I'm gonna make sure that door can't be open. Just double checking. You never know. Maybe we'll be able to open this massive sealed door somehow. You can! Aha! I was gonna go the long way for nothing. Wait, that's it? I guess I'm just examining it. Oh! Wait! This is story! This is lore! Everyone, we've discovered lore. Okay, so... we have this tree that's like grabbing people on the bottom, right? God, I wish I could pause it. Okay, here, actually, you know what? I can X out of it, and it's fine. So there's this tree that's grabbing people at the bottom, and it's hooked up to this massive machine where this scientist is feeding in stuff, and it's hooked up to these, like, root vats, and then the scientist has this, like, animal genealogy tree being fed in it, right? Because it's not just like these animals get fed in. It's like a genus map of like Earth species being fed into this like biological engine. It looks like something out of Mage the Ascension, let's be real. Like this looks like something the Soul Efficati would do if they hooked up with the Society of Aether. I display them all in viewer cages. I also captured all the bounties and displayed them in view. What is wrong with you? Holy shit. Well, you know what, Dawnseeker? You make me feel better about myself. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh. Damn, man. Okay, so I think we've already kind of learned a bit about the lore. This wasn't like a random disaster. This was man-made. TDL was a party pooper. Also, the bow does surprisingly good damage, which I kind of like. I hate it when there's like ranged options, but there's no good, there's like no good actual damage you can get out of it. But this actually, the bow does pretty good decent damage. I like it. Now you understand why I say power brings on war criminal. I didn't mean the small world. Empty slot. Okay, so we need to like insert some kind of like unlocking key or something. And then we're probably gonna need to restore power. Lightning stones I spent so much effort collecting have been stolen by those thieving golems. I have but 1 left to my name, which won't be enough to get past the door. I want to see the surface once more. So this is some kind of facility that was Can we agree this facility was definitely involved in whatever did this to the world? Like, they definitely created the weird plant plague thing. Also, I just realized those like vats. They looked very similar to the little vial my character has. The little green plant vial. It looked a lot like the vats that the scientist was like feeding into that. Seems they held one of their lightning stones. You know the way, Ku? Woof. Good boy. Find the lightning stones so we can turn it on. Which, I'm guessing the lightning stones are really just the power cells. We're just calling them lightning stones, I guess, because we don't know what a battery is. We need to insert a lightning stone into the control panel. It's a power cell. Everything's gone away. It's all magic now. I do like how even if there's no, like, target, you can literally just create a bridge. Like, it's not a contextual thing. You can just create a bridge wherever you feel like it. Which is cool as frick. I literally cleared my warrant multiple times by not running and hiding, but capturing, killing all the PIDF to kill me. No more CIA to express knowledge about existing magic. Or because advanced technology looks basically indistinguishable from magic. Or we might be in a VR simulation. That's, is this like a robot monk barbarian or something like that? What the fuck is this guy? Ku. All right. Sakura Javelin. Good job, Ku. Find him. And we shall break him. Oh, wow. He was tough. Drakengard, is that you? Oh my god. No. It's not just... Wait. Oh my gosh, this description. I called it. These are literally... This looks like my bike battery. A square stone imbued with electricity, sometimes found in ancient ruins. Legends say it once helped us reach the stars. They have walker mechs powered by ghosts. They don't have they don't know what a battery is. Thunder waves. Also, we got a lightning sword, by the way. We got a lightning sword, which is just sick as fuck. And I'm gonna immediately grab that. Oh, okay. So we've got like a. So I thought the society was like still somewhat technologically advanced, right? Because they use robots and they Ghost is another name for AI. Yeah. Oh man. See, I thought they were still technologically advanced, but we're in like a Warhammer scenario, right? Where like they understand some technology, but they think of it as like magic, because like a lot of the stuff that's really advanced is like lost knowledge, which honestly is really cool. Oh shit, Fred, this is just the Verbena. The Verbena worked with the Sons of Ether, and they destroyed the technocracy by overrunning the world with plants in a mad science experiment gone wrong. That's what's happened. That's Amber. Oh, you're infected too? Inside the ores is the crystalline memories and knowledge of an entire civilization. Or is it? It's dangerous here. You should return to safety. I'm actually looking for a way to save my home, and I think Amber might hold the key. Oh, no, this is giving me some Wild Sea vibes now. Actually, this might actually have some wild sea things, like a weird crystalline resin, right? The amber resin. What were the werewolves doing during all this? Probably partying, because Gaia was being brought back to life by their Verbena allies. And then they started panicking when Gaia went a little overboard and and they realized that the Verbena had unbalanced her, and now she was devouring everything, including them. So some of the Nushi are just werewolves. Or Farah. Yes, I can turn everything into Wad. It's entirely possible. You have a gift of your own. Able to absorb blight. He's like a shaman. But no, honestly, this is gonna be more Wild Sea vibes than World Darkness. I could set up a World Darkness like alternate timeline with this. My base pals get to live the nice life. They get to eat pizza, sleep on luxury beds. Oh yeah. My pal bases, I had like I'm pretty sure my beta save is not gonna work, right? But man, I had them on like my really nice bases, right? Had like this like nice tower apartment building I built for them with this like rooms of these luxurious, like high-end beds, and I had like a few dozen, like I had, what was it, like 4 hot springs on the top of the roof where they could go chill. Turning everything to World Darkness is the opposite of bragging rights. Now, figure something that World Darkness doesn't have on the other hand. Beta saves still can still work, but the progressions will be all messed up. Yeah, see, if I want to go do version 1.0, I'm going to have to do it from start. Especially given how janky some of my builds were, I guarantee you they patched some of the way my bases were built, and if I move something and I can't replace it, that would really screw things up. Oh, he gave me attribute points. That's interesting. Let's exchange signal codes. If you want further enhancements, you're fully called. Oh, you can do like magic enhancing stuff? Cool. Trying to figure out something World Darkness can't do is really hard. Between the Umbra and like the Dark Ages Chronicles, and the fact that you can just like do alternate future timelines or whatever, World of Darkness can handle a lot of settings. Trying to think of something it can't do. It can't do Utopia well. World of Darkness doesn't really handle doing like, isn't like set up for Utopia. It's set up for like moral ambiguity and struggle. Actually, I recently saw another Burger Creek video, a new video he released. I know, he's so much better releasing stuff than I am. And he was talking about this game called Lancer, which is actually really cool. I recommend you give his video a watch, because he does a great job of like going over settings. And it's actually a setting where like the big organization, like the biggest organization on the block, is very Star Trek coded. Like they're a post-scarcity society that wants to spread post-scarcity to other worlds. And it's like the enemy factions who are the ones who are... Well, they have to accept Union, because Union has, like, all the good tech. Yes, the good guys have the good experimental tech that everyone wants. For once. And... Oh, man, I'm not going to explain it well. I highly recommend you watch it. It's essentially a mech combat RPG, too. Which is already amazing. But it does a really good job setting you up as an actual, like, if you like that Starfleet vibe of, like, actually being the good guys, right? Trying to do objectively good things in a world that is a bit morally ambiguous, and, like, the organization you're even working for doesn't have an entirely squeaky clean history, but it's reformed and trying to actually do better. Yeah, that video. It's actually kind of cool. Also, there's Lovecraftian horrors from beyond time and space, because our AIs dreamed and they created gods in overspace, which is how we do fast and light travel. And the gods are kind of protective, which is really funny. Like, we basically we had this, Union had this, like, 5 AIs that were all working out these bifurcated minds involving their subconscious or whatever to prevent them from going rampant. And they were all dreaming, essentially, to prevent them from, like, going rogue. But what ended up happening was they dreamed a god into being in an overspace. A god called Ra. It basically ate Demos and started, and briefly, yeah, it's a nicer version. I know it's a really nicer version. It basically the dark god, this AI god thing from beyond overspace started like making AIs go rogue, like lower machine AI go rogue and machines revolt. And then after it made Deimos, the moon base, disappear, right? And then it kind of just like showed up and was like, Union, we want to talk. Look, we just want to talk. Okay, here's how things are going to go. See, I kind of feel paternal to humanity. I know, weird. But I like you guys. I think you are doing good work. But the whole human supremacy thing about like particular versions of human form, yeah, that's got to go. Post-human advancement based around like turning yourselves into AI, yeah, that's gonna go. And no looking for my server rooms. Sorry, it's a protection thing. But otherwise, yeah, you're kind of like my kids. I'll look after you, sort of. It's complicated. Much like if Starly didn't have to go into exile in Mech Warrior. Okay, but what would good guys help bad guys? What does good mean in this world? Good means in this world is basically the organization you're a part of is trying to do good. The whole thing with Union is their technology has allowed them to reach post-scarcity, right? They have like Star Trek Replicator. We don't even really use money in the core worlds thing. But the universe is vast, and it actually plays up the vastness of it. And there was a whole Dark Age where everything collapsed for a bit, so Union had to essentially work with a bunch of other factions. Now, there are companies, because companies still exist in Union, right? They're not like abolished. It's just that they're more of like worker co-op stuff, right? Where everybody reaps the benefits. Very, very communism coded, very socialism coded. But there are other companies, these other large factions. And although they theoretically work with Union and to a degree follow its whole spread prosperity to everyone thing, some of them are a bit more not that. And in distant worlds, right, where there isn't a Stargate, so you have to use, you know, standard light speed or just below sub-light speed travel, right? Oh, we can only go 90% or 99% of the speed of light. Remember, universe is big. Like, they've barely extended into, like, one arm of the Milky Way in this universe. They're using, like, realistic distances, which is really cool. Even Union has its limits. It can't be everywhere. So it has to, like, placate other factions. And as long as they don't, like, completely go against their ideals, they'll kind of allow it. Sort of. So there's, like, one company that's, like, very capitalist coded with a bit of, and then there's another one that's kind of like a eugenics-ish thing. It's weird. They're more about, like, selecting genomes to operate on certain conditions on planets, but yeah, it is a little cringe. Raw basically told them they're not allowed to do it anymore, and, you know, they don't like that a ton. A lot of, like, post-humanism kind of got nerfed when the AI god showed up and said no, and Union had a whole change of priorities, so to speak. It's a whole thing. I do recommend watching the whole video, because I'm only covering, like, the bare minimum on this. But it is, like, a really nice thing. It's a really nice setting in the sense that things aren't perfect, right? A lot of colonies were sent out with generation ships, and so they have completely unconnected societies, or maybe they have societies that aren't as utopian as Union is. And your job as, like, a mech pilot, right, is to go out there and help Union spread the, Okay, well, so being good in this setting can mean just trying to make the best decisions you can, knowing that eventually things are going to work out, and you're trying to make sure they work out in the best way possible for the most amount of people. So, like, for example, you might end up on a world that's, like, still stuck in, like, neo-feudalism, right? Because they're this uncontacted colony from the old expansion days. And you're there to, like, sort of prep them for first contact, maybe, or maybe deal with some of the more dangerous warmongering players who might have access to nukes. That kind of stuff. Actually, the setting for, like, how Union came about is actually one of the coolest things. It is one of the best and kind of, like, most hopeful for humanity things I've ever heard. And it sounds weird because it starts with an apocalypse. Basically, humanity ignored climate change for so long that even though we sent out generation ships and were colonizing other planets, Earth essentially collapsed. Like, full environmental collapse, human population dipped into, like, the sub-million numbers. Billions and billions of people died. The Earth was rendered uninhabitable for literally thousands of years, aside from small wandering enclaves scraping by, essentially like a millennia-long super ice age / climate disaster. And everything was screwed. Like, so screwed that, again, we went from billions of people and colonizing space to a few 100,000 with no contact of the generation ships that fled the incoming disaster. And that sounds really bad. And it was. It was one of the worst events in Earth's history in the setting. In my mind, Apocalypse always associated with fresh start, decompression of the lives to find value again. And it is. That is like the story of Union, but it also does something really clever. See, after Earth started being able to be repopulated again, right? Nations popped up and humans started going back to status quo as usual. Because of course we did, right? Like, you know, yeah, there was the whole legacy of the old ones, right? And their arrogance, the stories of old technology and the wonders we had lost. But humans were just kind of squabbling, you know, nations bartering. It wasn't as bad as before, but we weren't quite past our bullshit yet. Even though we had spent the last few thousand years telling our children and grandchildren, hey, the elders ruined everything and they destroyed the world, and we should never be like that again. And then they found the caches. See, you know, as you might imagine, when think of like Horizon Zero Dawn, right? There were a lot of projects going on to try and save the world. Some of them were to try and fight like the climate change disaster, but others were just to like squirrel away as much tech and knowledge as possible and make sure it lasted thousands of years, either for when the survivors would be able to repopulate, or for when the generation ships would send their own generation ships back to their homeworld to reclaim it. And so these civilizations discovered the legacy of the old world. They discovered this immensely valuable technology that had been prepared, you know, spare no expense. This is the legacy of eons kind of thing. And it was immediately fought over. Like, immediately. Humanity seemed to have learned nothing. We immediately went back and started squabbling over the remnants. And then a bunch of us went, wait, what the fuck are we doing? We literally just did this. We just did this. And we spent the last 1,000 years telling ourselves we weren't going to do it again. We are better than this. We are not this terrible. We are not doing this again. And they essentially went, all the human nation got together and said, look, we cannot do this again. We have been given a second chance beyond all second chances to not just rebuild, but to build up better than our old glory days. We can create a better, the endowment of human spirit finally heard. Oh my gosh, yes. And they were like, we can make a better world. Better than even the golden age. That's a really cool thing about Union as like an organization. It's not just striving to rebuild the good old years. It's striving to be better than them. And so they agreed on some core tenets of how we weren't going to do the whole capitalist dystopia hellscape again. No, we're done with that bullshit. And yeah, it worked out. Now, it got really weird. There was like a whole first council thing where we kind of just did it really well, and the second council came around and there was some issues. But the third council came about after the second council got ousted. A lot of them went off to build one of the more morally corrupt organizations Union has to manage. You know, prevent from getting too bad, but it be like that. Let's do communism that shall actually work. Basically, yeah. And the reason Union has managed to maintain power despite all the others is because they found the ultimate prize of the post-war era. Basically, there were these 5... Remember when I talked about the AIs that dreamed up a god? Those AIs were these 5 AI models that the ancients, just before the collapse on Mars, had figured out how to get, like, fully sentient AI working. And it was by, like, splitting themselves into, like, dreaming minds and everything. It's a whole thing. But they did it, and they found these 5 AI in this computer server, managed to get them working, and they can now use them to essentially predict the future to a limited extent. Running incredibly complex models, which, as you can imagine, is like letting them do all sorts of crazy scientific advancements. Because these things are essentially used to not only predict threats, but to also like model out technologies before they're utilized, to foresee any potential downsides or consequences of using them. It's used for basically all the high-end stuff, and it's a very well-kept secret in Union, which means that some of the organizations probably are aware of them, but they're never getting a hold of them. Yes, they actually used AI to better the people. So yes, this is like the ultimate humanity learning from its mistakes and bettering itself fantasy. I'm not gonna lie. And it's just, I don't know. I like the moral complexity of things like Mage the Ascension. I even like Mummy, the Resurrection, right? Which is inherently about good people doing good things. But there's something to be said for, like, Star Trek kind of stuff, right? Where humanity finally sorts out its bullshit and actually manages to learn the fucking lessons it should have learned the first time. Hope Core. Yeah, it's very Hope Core. And it's not, like, blindly hopeful, right? It shows these other organizations. And it even shows, like, Union itself committed, like, near genocide against this alien species. And one of its ongoing projects is, like, rebuilding their world and apologizing because the superhuman supremacist faction. There's only, like, one species of alien, and we immediately ruined their world. And tried to kill them all. Union did that, and they're trying to make up for it. But it's, like, an ongoing thing that they both admit happened, and they are actively trying to rectify very publicly. Which is kind of, you know, good. Oh, it's weird. It's weird, but I love the setting. I'm not sure I'd play a game of it. Mech combat seems interesting and all, but I have, like, way too many RPGs I want to play, and the mage game is probably going to go on for a few years. But the setting does ring in me really hard. I'm not going to lie. I like the setting. I think we need more of that Star Trek energy again. I feel like we haven't had stuff like that in a bit, right? I feel like we need more of that energy. Many good stories play just like that. They're a fantasy of what could have been stored in your imagination to say. Maybe we should consider more than just our meaningless day-to-day lives. But do it right, Mr. Moss. Yeah. Well, like, one of the things I like, and ironically, actually very ironically, there was this video by a guy who goes by, like, Pointy Hat. He does, like, D&D stuff. I watch him because he has some really cool ideas. Not that I like to play D&D or anything, but, you know, I like a lot of his concepts and his, like, twists on things, and, you know, I can definitely, you know, modify some stuff. It's really cool. And he was doing a lore video on Eberron and how, like, the ancient kingdom, right, and the fifth of the 5 human factions that got wiped out in this horrible night. And it's a tragedy that scars Eberron. Everyone's constantly trying to recapture the glory days, you know? I think this is a really good contrast to things like that. Like, not only did they lose everything, their golden age ended, it was their own fault, and they saw it coming. It wasn't the end, but it was a horrible setback. And instead of letting that define them, right? Letting the whole thing define this world, they actually did better and learned from their mistakes. This just in, richest man in the world says money will be useless in the future. Guess there's no reason to give him all of yours then. Yeah. Alright, where am I supposed to be going here? Let's see. Access the water tank controls, but where? Alright, maybe this way? Oh, maybe I can come up here. Use the verticality. This game making me think vertically. Aw, is this nothing? Really? I was expecting to actually find something cool up there. Yeah. Again, it's very cool to see a world where people actually, like, learn. Because I feel like humans do learn from mistakes, eventually, at least a little bit. Like, if something that cataclysmically bad happened, we learn from it, I feel like. Hopefully. I would like to believe that we are capable of learning from absolute fucking disaster, at least. I don't think humanity is that forsaken, that we are just, like, incapable of growing. And, you know what? It's not a perfect future, right? It's not a perfect world. Earth might be, like, perfect utopia now, but there are plenty of places where humans live horrible, horrible lives in the setting. But the main faction is trying to actually make the world better. And not just for, like, a small group. Like, their whole ethos is that everyone should benefit. And that, like, no one person should rule over and control everything. Maybe the next is coming. Maybe. But Union seems to at least be prepared to deal with it in a responsible manner. And honestly, the whole organization feels a bit big brothery, but they seem to do pretty good work, all things considered. So, like, until the people who witnessed the horrors died and faded into the history books. I think that's part of it, right? Like, Union isn't trying to, like, just let things fade. They vividly want to remember the past and learn from it. We not Union is what I'm saying. Definitely freaking not. I mean, Union wasn't Union. Like, in canon, I'm slowly pushing a communist ninja bit, just very subtly. I mean, like, like, post-scarcity just seems like such a fucking win for humanity. Oh. The hell? Okay. So I can't go that way. Oh, wait. The hell? This is a glitch? This feels like a glitch. It feels like I glitched into an area I probably wasn't supposed to get into yet, but sure, let's do it. Was that a bug, or was it just like a loading screen or something? Weird. Honestly, I feel like people who fight against socialism are people who just, like, are fine in the current system. Farmers do burn their crops when there's an oversupply. We're already there. We can touch it with our fingertips. Yeah. That kind of shit should just be fucking illegal. Like, there are people literally starving, you're gonna burn crops, and you have an excess. That's actually fucking evil. This is why history repeats itself, because the horrors that, from a history book can never actively convey the experience firsthand. Maybe, but they can still do a good job of reminding us. I think it's partially when we start idealizing the past and forgetting or erasing the horrors. If people can remember or be reminded of the horrible things that happen, right? I feel like most people will try to do better. It's just that so often we're willing to erase the horrible parts of the past in order to idealize some aspect of it we like. You know? They want to deny the atrocities or whatever and focus only on, oh yeah, but our nation got founded. So nothing bad could have happened here because, you know, our nation was founded and our nation is the best thing that's ever happened ever. And you can just, like, guess which nation I'm talking about. It's not even a particular nation. It's all of them. Because everyone, like, nation kind of thinks like that, right? And when you gloss over the, you know, things your nation did during its founding or during its early years, yeah, you're gonna erase some really fucked up stuff we probably should have learned our lessons from. Okay, so I can't jump down there. Damn. Not completely free movement. Or history classes get co-opted by people that do think they are above feeling guilt. Yeah, that's like the weirdest thing I've ever heard is like parents are like, I don't want my kid to feel guilty over what our nation ever did. I'm like, I'm sorry, why do you feel, what? Why is that a bad thing? That's how you teach kids to not be sociopaths. You teach them right from wrong. Like, teaching them to feel bad about bad stuff is what stops them from doing bad stuff. Is that not the logic everyone else has? I thought we taught ourselves to feel bad about horrible things, and that way we don't want to do the horrible things because they feel bad, and we don't want to feel things that feel bad. Like, that's like the very basic logic. Doesn't mean it will ever happen. Yeah. To be fair, we've never had a complete apocalypse of the entire planet. Alright, I really do not know where to freaking go for this goddamn water tank. It's not that far down. God, I really wish I could see, like, the internal areas. Alright, I feel like we do need to head... Let's see. Further up on the ledges... These are the same parents that claim about children being coddled by others. Yeah, it is the same. Jeez, it's a weird contradiction. Maybe we did, you just don't know it yet. We don't know yet because it was so long ago. Ugh. Fair, but I can only operate on the information I have. I don't know what I don't know. You know, I am just noticing they really did, like, nail down the sound of, like, all the different things we're running on. The vibrations in this controller... Okay, this is a weird thing to talk about. I can feel the vibrations of her, like, running on the trains as different than her running on, like, the metal walkways. That's a really strange thing to, like, code into your game, but I guess I'm here for it. Sure, why not? Alright, there's gotta be a way to get there from here. I'm, like, so close I can feel it, right? And I'm on the right level. What's this? Fish. I mean, for me, a world where, right, where nobody has to work and we can, like, just enjoy being alive and having fun and doing things that make us happy sounds like a good thing. That's where kind of my thoughts on the matter kind of stop and end, and I feel like that's where we should be going. Or at the very least, like, a world where the work you do is not just benefiting a small group. PS5 controller, right? Doesn't it have very good haptic feedback? Yeah, but I thought that was only for, like, PlayStation 5 games? I didn't think the law of the haptic feedback stuff was on, right, in other games. I mean, on a PC. Because I'm playing this on Windows, I'm not playing this on PS5. Rather cynical view. Humanity is always alternating between steps. Alright, I know there's like a find me. Okay. So this is like... The aura is pointing me in this direction. There's like a glowy aura. I have a cynical view. Humanity is always alternating between 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That is kind of what I've observed. As much as I would like for humanity to be better, it does seem very determined at the moment to fucking stick its head in the blender, so to speak. Gentle reminder that can't never could. Fair. I have a hard time with it. Part of me really does want to continue being pessimistic, but I don't think that gets me much. Like, yeah, I get to be right when we do stupid shit. Bully. And, like, I'm definitely still gonna be pessimistic about some things. But, I don't know. It's a weird thing where I want humanity to be helpful, and a part of me thinks it won't. But I also think at the same time that that part of me is, like, a killjoy. And I'm also glad most people probably, like, maybe don't think that same way. I mean, more people do, and I'm, like, upset about it. Because I've generally been of the opinion that a world of people who all thought like me would be horrible because I can't do most things that the world needs. Okay, I'm trying to follow the glowy trail and I'm not getting led anywhere. Okay, well wait, going over here. Alright. Glowy trail, show me the way. Okay, wow, I really am just getting like thrown in random directions. Ugh. Life is messy, there's no easy path forward. Maybe, yes, true. But also, like, good God, where's this water tank? I just want to find the water tank. This is the main quest line. Jeez. Game Freak, give me a path. Holy shit. Alright, hold on a second. Let me check this quest. Alright, I put a marker on it. Maybe that will help me find it better. This glowing, I feel like the trail is like lost as well, and I'm just running in circles. Don't mind people who think that good outcome is possible. Pessimists are not just killjoys, but useless. What consensus reality, anyone? Yeah, that is true. I feel like you can still be pessimistic and do good work. I mean, I'm pessimistic and still like for the world to be better. If anything, the fact that I think the world isn't better sometimes makes me a bit angry, and that makes me want to make it better. Like, for example, I'm pessimistic about the way companies are starting to make media something you have to constantly pay for rather than you buy and own, right? And while I am pessimistic and I don't think it's going to improve, it also makes me want to do the thing where, like, you know, I posted it, right? I posted that kind of, like, mailbox blockbuster thing where you can create your own little, like, neighborhood. That is the rage. Oh, that's the rage of werewolf. Oh, fuck. Really not being the furry allegations. Draft up a plan to put into action and watch as human nature makes mess of it. See, it doesn't always, though. Like, I am a pessimist about a lot of things, but I can't say human nature always makes a mess of it. Because I've seen it do better. There's actually a little thing in my neighborhood. There's a little box at the front of my neighborhood. Some places have these. A lot of places do now. And it's a little neighborhood library. Take a book and put one back. And it's stocked with books. And I've had people tell me, oh, if you do something like that, people will just steal it or take it all. It's like, no, you won't. They won't take it all. They won't take it all. People will actually use it. Watch human nature eventually make a mess of it. I mean, some people will. I think it is inevitable that there are going to be some people who are going to try to make a mess of it out of their own greed. I think that is inevitable. But I also don't think it is inevitable that we have to let those people ruin things for everyone else. We can just tell them fuck off. And we really should. You're the one who brought werewolf here. You shoot your own foot with that one. Technically, Frederick did that with the rage. He was specifically referencing Werewolf the Apocalypse, where werewolves are rage-driven eco-warriors who are kind of psychotic. And I am, like, completely lost at the moment. I really need to find my footing again. Otherwise, I'm going to be just wandering around this labyrinth forever. So I'm going to officially make my first attempt to look something up. How do we get to the water tank? Noted as my first failure to progress. Carnation. Activate the water tank. Eventually you get people who don't return books, who refuse to return the books, who destroy the books because they don't believe in the system you create. Yeah, but are those people going to be better than the people of that place who wish it to happen? Stuck in the back rooms for 6+ hours, gone wrong. Ugh. There's so much other rages, you know. My recent is Trex coded. T-Rex coded. You're just saying that 'cause you played Dino Blade. Oh, man. Alright. Yeah, but there are also people who will tell them to go fuck themselves and get out of here. I think it is possible for people to build stuff that's better. I mean, hell, we still have public libraries. That's like a best example I could give. Public libraries exist, and they do amazing work. And sometimes they do. They don't always fall apart, even if there will always be people who try to make them fall apart. I do genuinely believe that there are always going to be assholes who try and ruin everything for everyone else because they think it'll make them a bit happier. I do not believe that we will ever be fully rid of those kind of people. But I think we can tell them to just go fuck themselves. Oh, I think I figured out how to do it. So I have the batteries now. I have the lightning stones. So I think what I need to do is, okay. More people do. One book never comes back, 10 books take its place. Yeah. Our library system in Louisiana is a good example. So the library the library system I am part of, right? That I live near. They stopped doing late fees. And they saw no increase in the number of books that got stolen or taken. People still return books. The vast majority of people still return books. And their system for it was, fine, you can only have so many books out at a time. That still stands. And so what happens is, the few people who are going to screw with the system. They steal 10 books, right? Maybe a Blu-ray box set. And then they're not allowed to check out anything ever again. And their names are marked down the system. And they're told, if you'd like to check out stuff, please return what you've already taken, sir. And that's that. Done. Because the system told them, if you're not going to cooperate with the system that's doing something nice for everyone, get out. We don't want you ruining this for everyone else. It's that simple. And if, like, somebody at the neighborhood book, you know, at the neighborhood library starts taking books, well, it's a neighborhood book library, right? All the neighbors are going to be like, who the hell is doing this? They're going to, you know, look and see, and then they're going to tell that person, get the fuck out. And that will be it. It really is that simple. Like, I didn't think it was that simple when I was younger, but I think that was just propaganda. It actually is that simple. Bible never told us to be nice. It said to be righteous, just meaning reacting on the evil of others. And there's that new one, right, with the Blockbuster thing. I'm not sure I have enough time, but I've been thinking about it. And yes, I have been thinking maybe I should go look and see if there's like a used, like an old retired newspaper, you know, sale box that the company that owns it doesn't want anymore, that I could paint Blockbuster blue. To be fair, I was the one who taught you about social capital. You were! I was like way more pessimistic when I was a teenager. Like way more pessimistic. Code and Assembly was the one who made me realize that if you're nice to other people, they'll want to do things for you because you are nice for them. It's an exchange or a credit system, just like socially. And it means that even a complete sociopath can find a reason to actually want the social order to function, because it's good for everyone, not just like some people. It's good for everyone involved, essentially. All right. There we go. Which is good because I'm a sociopath. I'm just a little weird. I don't know what I am. My head is all sorts of fucked up. But I've learned to, like, rationalize everything I do to the best of my abilities, and to realize that I'm not going to be able to be perfect, but I can at least try and make myself somewhat consistent. At least in the ways it matters. Because I'm a human, and I'm going to be inevitably somewhat inconsistent when it comes to my likes, dislikes, and opinions. But I can at least, you know, keep track of that and explain it. Because opinions and my opinions change over time as I grow and develop as a person. Perfection is not achievable. Still the best direction and the reason for fight for change. Yeah. The world being shit is true. The world being shit is not an excuse for it to not be shit. It's just the current state of things. Alright. Nice. Oh boy. Oh, look at that lightning damage go. speaking of philosophy, I started looking at Spinoza's God, Interesting Thoughts from 1600. I do not know that one. And I know a lot of weird philosophical and mythological inquiries. But I don't know about Spinoza's God. Spinoza's God. Spinoza. What did I say? Spinoza's God. Tongue does not work at the moment, like, as per frickin' usual with me. As I grow, I see more of my human nature. My faith in humanity increases and diminishes. Yeah, it comes in waves, right? Like, you see the good and the bad, and there's a lot of bad. I fully acknowledge that. There's a lot of bad in the world. But I also am exposed to the media, and I know that there are a lot of people who would like to see the world improve. Honestly, I think I would be a lot more depressed as a person if I didn't watch and read as much different types of media as I do. Like, all the different opinions you are exposed to via media really do make you see how much everyone else would like for the world to not be shit. And, like, how many other people actually do genuinely want the world to be better. Oh, frick. And I think we all agree on that. Just not reasonable to be like that. It's just states of things. Now, do I agree it's a really frustrating state of thing, backed by a lot of status quo bullshit that would be really difficult to fully dissolve? Yeah. Do I believe it's impossible? No. I think it's just as easy to get to the inverse of where we are now, just as, like, absolute horrible, you know, an absolute dystopia is equally unlikely as an absolute utopia. And the two terms may be completely synonymous in a sense, because one era is utopia and another's dystopia. Because I enjoy Code Geass's portrayal of human nature. And even Code Geass agreed that, like, humanity being better is possible. That is also the thing that I like, coming back full story around right back to Lancer. Because, like, it's not perfect. Union has gotten its shit together, right? They are a faction, a large and the most powerful faction, has gotten its shit together. But even they have to deal with subversion on all their, like, subsequent branches. Including one branch that's literally made of, like, the people they kicked out a few generations back. Everything, which means everything in the universe is a component element of God. God is not an individual entity, as that would separate God from everything. That's some very, the one from Mage the Ascension, or the Alibatim. For the crafts, you know? Then again, Mage the Ascension was built on, like, a lot of old worldviews. Beast of Reincarnation, but with near combos. So someone literally just did it. Damn. Oh, shoot. We got ballistas. Come on, let's go. Let's go, Ku. You might enjoy Lancer's lore. It's very, like... I mean, the timescales are weird. Like, Burger had a whole rant about that. But it's, you know, aside from, like, the way the timescales are scaled out, which is a little, like, weird and, like, very drawn out, it is pretty cool. I think most of the timescales were just there so, like, the human population could extend to, like, a fraction of the Milky Way's arm. I personally don't believe there's a point to everything. But as I've gotten older, the whole idea of it for me is if there's no point to anything, why would we not want to have a good time? Right? Why would we not want to live in a world that's good if we have no reason for it to not be good? There's no defining purpose or reason to anything. If nihilism is true, then why wouldn't we just want to, you know... Alibatim is an interesting parallel in Spinoza, uses Euclidean geometry and on logical axioms to prove his point, and the Alibatim use math to prove their point with their magic. Huh, that's actually... Okay, so that might have been pulling... They might have been pulling, like, directly, or at least from, like, some of the same sources that Spinoza's God pulls from. Because, you know, Mage probably didn't pull that from, like, one source, right? They were probably pulling that from a lot, including the Islamic Golden Age. You know, of math and science. That was a whole thing that the Alibatim pulled pretty heavily from, I'd say. Alright. What do we got here? Let's keep going. I'm installing this game as we speak so I can figure out what he does and share its arcane knowledge. I'm glad to hear it. All right. And we're out of shots. Crossbow? Crossbow. The mage pill makes philosophy like 10 times more interesting to read. Yeah, because you can actually turn those beliefs into magic. Magic systems for your game. It makes like weird scientific theories and like, you know, worldview stuff like just so interesting. Honestly, if you want some interesting stuff to chew on, the mystery cults of Greece, like the cult of Mithras, or the Despoina cult. Oh man, there's a whole thing where Persephone is actually like potentially like a Mycenaean goddess of the underworld who predates the existence of Hades, like the Greek god. Oh, there's a whole thing with like Mycenaean Persephone and her dual nature, and oh, it's a whole thing. I highly recommend you watch OSP's video on OSP's like Red's video on Persephone. Just the sheer interesting stuff that can be done there is just so cool. Alright, Higana Bloom. Got it. All right. Haha. Oof. Hibana roots. Ah, I'm so close to getting it. Corvus in our TTRPG game said the same thing to Dawnseeker. Middle school nihilism is what I called the first type. True nihilism isn't. There isn't any meaning to life, so why live? There's no meaning to life. It's like we're just all... Yes, that's why the reason I bring it up like that, and I think I've said this before to someone else, I understand that older nihilistic thought actually did have a lot of views on that. The thing is, when you say nihilism nowadays, you get, I am so edgy, you know? Or nothing means anything, so our lives can just be shit and we should ruin everything. Which is not the actual philosophy you're drawing from there, but you know, it's a lot of like modern nihilistic thought. It's just, the world is shit and therefore everyone should be shit because there's no reason to be good. And it's like, no, there's no reason behind anything. You can just do as you please. Which means you could not be a horrible piece of shit. Unless you want to, in which case no one has any reason to be around you. Warvast in our first game said the same thing, Dawnseeker. Middle school nihilism is like all the first one. It really is middle school nihilism. I'd almost call it high school nihilism. I feel like it's more high school nihilism than middle school nihilism, but yeah. Same thing, same diff, honestly, either way. It's just a name at that point. I prefer to call that apathy rather than nihilism. Yeah, it is. Animals do practice self-improvement. Plants practice self-improvement. No, they just are. There's no meaning for their existence. The plants practice self-improvement. No, they just are. There's no meaning. I mean, sure. Alright. We're doing pretty well against this guy. Ooh. And we're just gonna unload an entire clip into his face. And there we go. Birds practice flying, wolves practice hunting by play fighting. Our existence in the universe, while miraculous, has no meaning. As such, we create meaning to live. Life without created meaning just exists. Yeah, it seems boring and stagnant. Like, if you're gonna die and disappear into nothingness, you would really want yourself to... Don't you want yourself to have some fun while you're here? I think that's one of the reasons I really identify with the Changeling lore of fighting against banality. Yeah, sure, some level of banality may need to exist, but dear gods, right? Why can't I hear his roar? I think the audio's fucking up a bit. Gigabana Bloom! Gigabana Seeds? What form created meaning that created meaning can take to be anything? Yeah! It can be literally anything. Whatever is meaningful to you. Alright, he's going to his Super Saiyan mode again. Super skills. Alright. Nope, we got some more. Alright. You get on the roots. Let's go. Oh, he didn't get bound. And we dodge. Damn. No one says anything about creating movement. Self-improvement leads somewhere. Pushes you to action. By moving closing conformism. You would really like Changeling lore, I think. You would love Changeling the Dreaming lore. It's literally about the encroachment of banality. Literally just like everything you're thinking of. And lethal time. Let's go. Conformism is just another way to not die. No, conformism is a way of staying with the pack so you don't get picked off at the cost of following someone else's direction. And while it can be fine on a certain level, because it helps people create unified groups, it is oftentimes grows to create restrictive environments that punish people who think or act differently. And I am enjoying the way we are slowly growing out of that mold. Partially as one of the good side effects of the internet, in my opinion. It's made people aware that there are lots of people who think like them or don't think like the rest of the way in the same way they don't think of it. For example, actually, the tattoo is a good example. See, I had kind of resigned myself to not getting a tattoo for a long period of my life. Because I still wanted to be able to get a job so I could feed myself. And I had been told, ever since I was a kid, that if you have a tattoo, you're not getting hired for jobs. Because who would hire a person with a tattoo? Now, that was always kind of false. Like, there had always been, you know, if you could hide it or whatever. But nowadays, as I got into the employment, right, it wasn't even just, like, at Barnes & Noble. Even at my new job, which is a government office job, there are a bunch of people with very obvious tattoos on their arms or on their face or on their hands that I can see. And I'm like, oh, that's bullshit. But it wasn't always bullshit. The world is growing to not be as conformist, which I personally like and think is a good thing. People are inherently unique. Our opinions are born of very specific circumstances. The lives we live, our unique brain chemistry, the situations we were thrown into, the formative events of our life, what we've experienced, when we've experienced it. I mean, I wouldn't be as tech savvy as I am if I hadn't been thrown into the situations early on that pushed me to learn about the technology, and then I also might not have done it if I hadn't had the weird brain chemistry that made that learning that stuff interesting to me. And so as a result, I've developed this way. But everyone develops differently, and trying to throw people in these very rigid boxes just doesn't work. It does kill, yeah, slowly, silently, and painfully. Exactly. And it's also just not a good way to organize things all the time. Okay, so our weird child memory ghost thing is having a vision. A great example of conformism just not working well is like standardized testing. It's not a good method of measuring a child's development or their understanding of material. At least not for all material. Like, missed comment. Unchecked conformism questions reality. Unchecked individualism actually divides and separates. Missed one comment, I think, was important for what you just read. And sure, if life has no meaning, why not make it cool? But with how much wonder and discovery every day, I would pretty sure to say life does not have any objective meaning. Also, coercion do kill, slowly, silently, painfully. Literally, MLP is what pushed me to talk to my people in the first video I was going to say. I would have never met you without that. Yeah. I have no idea what those things mean. What's your deal, Violet? Who are you? Are you us? Like young version us? It is! That experience is so specific to you as a person. Because people are inherently individualistic. On like a fundamental level. The reason we're taught that individualism is wild is because it is slightly... It is something you have to learn to manage to work in groups. Which is how humans develop. Right? We set aside individual comforts or opinions and come and cooperate with others, right? We moderate. We find middle grounds. Or at least we're supposed to. In recent days, that's been a whole thing. That's a great example of it's good to be inspired by attention. Yeah. But I feel like in the effort of like emphasizing this you know, conformism and this cooperation, we've become obsessed with stamping out anything that's different. We had been for a long time. It's only in recent years that's begun to shift a bit more. And older generations, let me tell you, as somebody who's talked to several older people in recent years about this kind of stuff, are not on the same page with that, and would very much like to everything to go back to the days where everyone down the street from them looked exactly the way they did, and dressed exactly the way they did, and talked exactly the way they did. Because a lot of them don't like the person with tattoos in the grocery aisle. I've had people that are like 20, 30 years older than me talk about how that person is scary because they have a tattoo, or they're scary because why are they wearing that? And I'm like, because they like it, and it's like a foreign concept to them. Don't want to get into it, but yeah, it's yeah. I know people who think it's weird to want to take the bus places. Because they grew up in a very car-centric US. And the idea that some people might just want to, like, not is strange. Okay, we have a phone now. We have we have somebody's number. We can talk to people. I might call them later. Not right this second. Well, yeah, and again, the extremes of any in spectrum will destroy. Actually, to use a Changeling the Dreaming metaphor, right? For as amazing as Changeling the Dreaming was, for as wondrous and magical as the dreaming is. It was also the time period where the Fae were just all-powerful, near-godlike entities playing with mortals and saw them as little more than cattle. Not to mention, we ended up going to the same college, even though neither of us discussed that with each other. Let's be honest. We probably would have stopped talking after high school. Yeah. Although, maybe not. Like, we didn't go to, you know, I still talked to Kate. We might not stop talking, but we would talk on, like, a level that, like, I talk with Lewis. Just Lewis, right? Or just Grant. We wouldn't talk as frequently as we do. Because we were in college and we were, like, able to make plans, right, about our future. Don't secret, that's why we have moral frameworks. Yeah. Making my way to the capital. Okay. Cool. She's still on her weird mission of her own. Nice to hear, nice to hear. I like when your character actually, like, gets stuff on them, right? So you can see, like, the boat. You can see, like, my new sword. You can see the little crossbow. The bundled up bow and arrow folded up together. I like it when the costume, like, slowly evolves as you progress the story. It makes the character feel like they're actually growing and they're not just putting on new pants. Hello, Koo. But no, if it's not clear, though, I am on more of an individualistic than conformity spectrum. Right? But that's just partially my own opinions and values. I don't know. I liked you after high school. Don't forget, I hate most of humanity. Fair. We did bond a lot more heavily in college than we did in high school. We knew each other and we were kind of friends in high school, but I was also a bit of a stick in the mud. Like, I didn't want to help you with your video, which, like, nowadays I look back at myself, like, the Dr. Steel video, I'm like, why the fuck didn't I help you guys with that? The fuck is wrong with me? High school me is, like, this weird thing. Because on one hand, he was developing the personality that I have today. And I still am a lot of him, right? Like, a lot of me from that era is still here. But I've also grown and seen the errors of my ways in some areas. Good lord, my mindset really has stuck somewhere between Fafnir and Assembly, and I kind of arrived like that. Am I missing Link?
Emma,
oh, man. You know, I think I can officially say I like this game, and I am unsure as to why all the people online seem to have very mixed opinions on it. I like the story. I think the combat is harsh and engaging in a way that's really fun. The boss fights are cool. But, like, even the other basic enemy encounter keep you on your toes. The exploration was a little difficult, but that's because I forgot that I needed to bring the battery back, right, to the original area, and they didn't have a checkpoint going there specifically. So that's on me. That's on me, not this place, right? It's not on the game. That's on me not having basic navigational skills and expecting the checkpoint to always point to exactly where you need to open the gate. I should have remembered, oh yeah, I just got the battery. I need to bring the battery to the gate opening device. We just did this. So that's on me. To be fair, game does seem somewhat bland if you're not playing it. I'm setting one for myself to see what can be done with it. Honestly, I don't see the blandness. Like, the character designs are very unique. The weird, like, very reminiscent, right, of other stuff with, like, the Choker. The Choker in particular really does remind me of the Cabaneri at the Iron Fortress. Where they have, like, the zombie plague, but they have these guys who are, like, partially infected, but aren't, like, they have, like, a restrictor to prevent it from reaching their brain or whatever. So they get, like, the super strength or whatever, but they don't get turned. And they all have, like, a choker, like, right around their neck to, like, limit the effect of the infection. And it's very similar, right, to this. But this is, like Cabaneri the Iron Fortress is echoing ideas of this. But it's not quite this, and this is a very distinctive style with, like, the plant overgrowth. Like, even the wolf with the plant tail, yeah, kind of Amaterasu coded, but not quite. It's very, I think it is fairly unique for what it's trying to do, and I like it. else? What else? The MC of this game doesn't look much different than the characters. Yeah, the MC... Okay, I'll give you that one. The MC is a bit... whatever. I'm still not sure what her deal is. Like, she's a kind of, maybe, sort of emotionless. I get the blandness, but Soul's AAA design just kind of makes my eyes go, I like more cartoony styles. I could see liking more cartoony styles. That makes 100% sense to me. I personally like the look, especially the destroyed world. I think the overgrown plant look is definitely hitting a vibe I really enjoy. No, no one's here. There were countless people living here. I must have heard of it from the golems. You kind of radicalize this a bit. Sure, game does have an art direction, but presentation can be slightly improved, if you ask me. I like plenty of things in this game myself. I'm not saying it's perfect. I just don't get why there were like mixed reviews, right? Because I've seen people give like positive reviews to games that have much blander and much less like well done art or presentation than this. It doesn't do really anything that majorly wrong, and it has enough unique aspects that I think it's really cool. Plus, you get a doggo companion, and he's such a good boy. How could you be upset about our good boy? With the fucking plant tail that can shoot flower beams. He's basically a Pokemon. Maybe that's the complaint, that it's like Game Freak. You really just cannot resist making a dog with elemental powers. Or nature powers, can you? Just really can't resist Game Freak. Honestly, if you made him a bit more chibi, I could see him being a Pokemon. I could see him being a Pokemon. That thing can fucking talk? That thing can fucking talk? No, it's not Souls looking. Souls in motion looks great. Bit of water down how much imitators there are. So we feed, brother? The fuck? How is a little girl's voice coming out of that thing? Oh, wow. Once it is, your body, your complete soul shall return. I am deeply confused what the fuck that is. Like, what the hell? Did like another from Shambhala. It could use some stylization when it comes to graphic style. That's the problem, I think. I do get a bit of a Horizon Zero Dawn look to it. Oh? Oh shit. Rust, that is. That looks like a lot of me? Was that me? Oh, we're gonna get some twists here. Okay. Maybe there's a really stupid twist here. Maybe there's some, like, really stupid twist at the end. I can see people getting pissed about that. We getting rival? I thought it was like a lone guy, right? Like he's already been scheming, right? He destroyed the settlement we were living near, right? That we worked for, essentially. That makes sense. I already knew he was like a rival slash villain antagonist plotting in the background with his, you know, companion who's much more monstrous, correct? Like that was already making sense to me. You've arrived in the mountainous region. Alright, skill research. We finished both of those. Item research finished. Yes, we do want a pet doggo. You're such a good boy, Ku. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Talk away. I don't know, maybe I'm just like, this is just hitting a lot of my buttons, right? But I personally just love this game. I will say, it is definitely a game I could see myself never replaying. Not that it's bad or even forgettable. I'm probably going to remember a lot of the monster designs, like the really cool plant deer. That deer was great. I love the fucking intro boss. But the reason I'm saying that is because I could definitely see myself being like, okay, I've gone through this game, I've beaten the bosses, and I know the story, I've learned the mysteries, and I'm done.
どうして
In the same way that although Horizon Zero Dawn is one of my favorite open world games of all time, I've only beaten it once. I've only played through it once. The same way that I've only played through Breath of the Wild once, right? And if I played through Breath of the Wild again, I wouldn't do like all the story stuff, I'd do a speed run. When it comes like Two Horsemen of the Apocalypse, TL comes to be impressed, Naruto comes to break apart combat.
そうそうなの
It is very parry focused, which I usually wouldn't be for, but I don't know what it is. I think the parries in the system are just like way more generous than I'm used
分か
to.
った
It's a lot easier to get the parry timing. It's not like as precise. You just need to kind of get it within a certain period, not right before. Okay. Oh, we got something. We got something? Nope. Okay. Do ranged weapon enhancement. Zangetsu bow. Great. I do like my the bow. Unlike a lot of games where like the bow is just more of a utility tool, this thing is really good at picking things off at a distance or from stealth, which I enjoy. No, Sekiro does. It does demand more precision than this, or I've gotten better since I played Sekiro. You know, God, I hate to admit this. I hate that I'm about to say this because I just know it's gonna lead to me doing this on stream, but I might,
主は
maybe, just maybe need to replay Sekiro. Yeah, you know what I was gonna say. You know what I was gonna say. Oh, it hurts me. It hurts me. It hurts me so
主や輪廻の獣がいなくなったら
much to say that.
この世界はどうなるの
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
今の世界より
Mostly because I want to see if I've gotten good enough that I can actually do the pairing stuff, right? You don't know?
このまま進んでバイオレットが傷つくなら
なんだ何か言ったか
いや何で
If
もない
going any further will hurt Violet.
そうかまあいい
Don't know much about this area. Get yourself well prepared before heading
十
out.
分に
分かっ
Okay, so we're not sure if we're gonna survive this, or if Violet will. Not great. Right, let's talk to Kagura. Cooking research, please. Please research all of these while I'm out. Or, yeah, fried egg. Fried egg superior. Grow research. Okay. Be a big Durg. You've grown so much since then. I hope I open your mind some. That's right. He completed normal Ninja Gaiden, but he's scared of Sekiro.
どこかに操作盤が
Scared
ない
mere
か
Sekiro.
探してみろ
You're right. I beat Team Ninja's bullshit game. Am I really gonna be afraid of like a somewhat harsher than usual From Software game? That seems a little out of line for me. But I had to find a place to pay it in. You know what? We'll wait till like February or January maybe, when we're gonna have another slowdown in game releases. Ooh, more recipes. Alright, examine the old tech. Pull the lever, Kronk. That's the spirit, now you get it. I will probably wait a bit though, right, for the game releases to slow down. Because like, it feels like the moment I finish this, I already have like several things. And if I don't have anything in the near future, I have Gothic, And, oh man, I see, oh god, did he start getting ready for Halloween? The Halloween Indie Spectacular. I only have like 2 months. Like a month and a half. I have a month and a half to get ready for Halloween. Gods. I really need to finish all my reviews too, because I need to do some kind of review for Halloween as well. Shit! Oh, you know, when you realize that you just have like so much less time than you think you do. Gods, I have so much to do. I have so much to do. I need to finish this review, this like occultist review, and get the new thumbnail ready for that immediately, prompto. And the new, and oh man, I really need to get the new banner ready before Halloween. That needs to be a priority. Perhaps something else is out there absorbing Nushi, which means we need that Nushi's power. Power World Games gave an update on Twitter. They're going back to brainstorming for Power World 1. Yeah, I heard they actually like asked players what they would like to see in Power World 1, which is such a. I saw somebody memeing on that online. There was a little video from like one of the comedy channels I watch, and they were like, they had the Power World creators going like, "Hey, so players, how are you enjoying the game? We're loving it." It's like, cool. So do you have any things you'd like to see? Because we really want to make this game like something you're going to really enjoy. And then like another developer comes in and is like, what are you doing? We're asking the players what they would like to see us update. You know, if there's anything they feel like we could fix or improve or, you know, that kind of thing. And they're like, asking the players? I thought you just put out more skins and hope they buy them. It's like, no, you have to like improve your game or they might leave. And the other devs just like don't get it. I think it was like EA or Ubisoft or something. Right? Oof. Power World really has kind of become like the all-star team. Like they were already like we were already kind of like on their side, right, for like screwing with Nintendo, because we thought like, yeah, Nintendo hasn't given us the game we've wanted for years. Let Power World give it to us instead. Haha. That's why I love Pocket Bear. It's from like gamers, and those gamers are the ones developing games. Well, yeah. Look, I'm gonna be real. Pocket Pair has a bit of a mixed thing for me, because on one hand, they have been literally creating Pokemon Nintendo ripoffs. Like, that's not a question. Okay? If we're gonna be honest about Pocket Pair, I think they do great work, but they are just ripping off Nintendo properties and seeing what sticks. Like, they literally made like a Breath of the Wild ripoff before they made Power World. You know? Now, granted, they still make very fun game, and I do like very fun game. And Nintendo hasn't given me what I wanted anyway, so, you know, I'm all on board them giving it to me. But I won't deny Nintendo did have a bit of a point that they did rip off their games, just I don't think that's a bit of a problem so much as it's a good thing. It's a good thing for me. Because, like, yeah, I could be upset about that, Nintendo, but look, you weren't really giving me the game I wanted. And we really did want this. We really did want that open world Pokemon game. Ripping off of their... They're doing it right, like Marvel Token rip off of Marvel vs. Cacton, or like Max Payne rips off Punisher as a character. Where can I find weapons? Oh, thank you, you just gave me poison arrows. Cool. They've already passed on. Oh, I only get one question for the genie. I will say the background music is kind of generic, but I kind of like it. It's kind of like that soft, you know, basic kind of soft J-rock. It reminds me a bit of Suzume's music, but not as heavy-hitting. Like, it evokes a vibe that I remember from Suzume. But it's not quite Suzume. By the way, if you've never seen the movie Suzume, watch the movie Suzume. It is a fantastic movie, and I highly recommend it to everyone. Like, everyone should watch that movie. It's so good. Alright, let's try and find another bonfire at least. And then, you know. We'll probably be at our wits' end, I believe. Oh yeah, the lightning blade just looks so good. Johnny Gat, Johnny Gat, Johnny Gat, Johnny Gat. Or Saints Row not being inspired by GTA, not being a total ripoff. I mean, Saints Row 1 was a total ripoff of GTA. Let's be real about that. It was just a GTA clone originally. Like, don't forget, Saints Row 2 and all might have been like cool, but like Saints Row 1 was just a ripoff of GTA, mostly uninspiredly. You're thinking of I think you're thinking of Saints Row 2 and Beyond. Saints Row 2 and Beyond, sure. Saints Row 1, no. If you don't believe me, go watch the 2. Saints Row 1 was just GTA Lite Edition or whatever. Saints Row 2 is where it got wacky and weird, right? Saints Row 2 is where you had like the mission where you spray poo on enemy gangs like territory or whatever with a poo truck. If Yahtzee can be believed, which he might have exaggerated that part, but I am, for some reason with Saints Row, I am a bit inclined to believe him. Haha! Stealth attack. Ding. Feels like nothing in GTA was in the works before San Andreas was a thing. I mean, even GTA doesn't look like GTA did when it first came out. Now I'm gonna make you play Saints Row to prove a point. Saints Row 1? Oh, do I really want to play the bad one? Like, if I'm gonna play a Saints Row game, I feel like I'd play like 2 or 4, right? I'd play when it started getting good, or I'd play the one where it got completely over the top, and you were just playing like a gangster superhero. With superpowers and everything, fighting like aliens and shit. Nah. I didn't say it was a bad game. I just say it's basically just a GTA clone. That's not a statement of it being bad or not. I think most people would say GTA is pretty good. 20 years ago has a non-zero chance of being made by people who played the original as kids. Yeah, basically. The Nushi is branching. Someone else absorbing the Nushi. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It attacked Ogochi. I don't think Saints Row fits in that category. Oh, I can't even attack? Oh, there we go. Hey, it's payback time, bitch. Higabana roots. All right, Higabana bloom time. And Dirt Devil's Sega clone. Oof. Defeat. Fang. Bite him. Oof. Alright. Yes! You're not that scary. I can take you. Where'd you go?
飛んだ。谷の向こう側じゃ。
It's heading towards the other side of the valley. We have to go after it. Haha! Ooh, I got a new backup skill for my crash landing attack. Nice! Okay. Blade Art Asago. So I guess we absorbed some of the power of this flower, even though we didn't absorb this. Wait, we still got a bit of the essence, I guess? From beating the... Okay, wait. I'm confused. How did we get the blue flower? There was no cutscene for it, or anything? That feels a little weird. Okay, maybe stuff is gonna start getting weird now. Because we just got a third flower in our hair, and we've unlocked another power set, but we didn't beat the boss, like it was stolen from us, and we didn't seem to absorb the power from that other guy, you know, the weird guy with the creepy girl's voice. That didn't happen, so what's the deal? What's the deal? What's the dealio? Well, I guess we'll have to find out. Also, I'm surprised. Also, I'm surprised you, but average Saints Row fans prefer Saints Row 2 over its wacky direction, even being appreciated towards Saints Row 1. I do know there are people who think Saints Row 4 was a bit over the top. I did know that was the thing. Like, to be fair, Saints Row 4 went full into wacky territory. Like, you're literally trapped. Are you trapped in like a simulation of the city from the first few games by aliens or whatever, and then you go to hell with Johnny Cash? Like, you literally go to hell, if I'm not mistaken. Alright. Fire. Fireplace, I see thee. Johnny Gat. With initial enough distinction, Saints Row from GTA, but there's much more. To be fair, I am not as familiar with either series as I think most people are. I don't know, crime sandboxes have just never been a big interest for me. Or completely saturated with it. I've only ever seen one Blightstone Purifier before. Who are you? I'm merely the storyteller. Oh gods, we're getting meta. This might go down a very... Oh, never mind, he's just like a bard. Just a bard, never mind, we're cool. He's just a bard, it's alright. We're not about to get super meta and talk to the creators. We're not gonna go full pathologic here. Sure, I'll listen to the story. We'll listen to their story, and then I think it'll be it for tonight. For even first Saints Row lacks some of the GTL and brings only its own spec characters to the stream via customization. We golems find value in sharing stories. Without offspring, it is our sole message of passing along the legacy. Allow me to begin. See this blade here? It was forged by the Iron Sage, a sage who brought us the gift of iron. Okay. Very on the nose. Countless were the weapons he created. that they paled in comparison to his magnum opus, the metallic shells that became our bodies. With essays supposed to be initial filler. Legends tell us that the combined efforts of the three were responsible for the crescent moon that hangs in the sky. So they were the people who made, like, the root machine or whatever. Sadly, the truth has been lost to time. And so concludes my tale. Not much of a story, to be honest. You may take the blade with you. Fate's silent whisper compels me to hand it over. Sure, why not? Fate tells me to take it. Whatevs. Seems a bit suspicious if you ask me. But nature, I simply wish to leave a legacy, to be remembered by someone. Anyone. How very human for a machine. There's nothing more to it. The other blight-stained purifier I mentioned earlier. The day will undoubtedly come where you must cross blades. Given the patience you have shown in listening to me, I sincerely hope it is you who emerges the victor. Farewell, and good luck. Hunter's swords builds up poison. Interesting. Okay. So I think this is a good stopping point. We're all good to be here. So I think this will be it. I will see you guys all tomorrow. We're actually probably going to be continuing more of Dragonhold. Maybe. It's complicated. I've been experiencing some bugs. For example, the first cutscene plays every time I open the game. But we'll see. We'll see if I can get it working again. Alright, see you guys then. Bye.